Then you have World Health Forums are coming in, and they talk about as a norms and rules that these numbers should be followed. Suddenly, somebody, even 2 days back, there is a BBC News says that a particular diet has been exercised as a research, and with that, type 2 diabetes can be reversed. How that is possible for all parts of the world? It is not possible for all parts of the world. I cannot talk too much on this because it may not look good, but definitely I want every one of us to think that is these number games with which are we driven towards the fear factor?
What is this number game? 70, 100, 180, 280. Oh my god, are you still alive? How can the blood sugar level be the same for people living in different environment? How do we know someone has diabetes other than checking a glucometer? Hello and welcome to Dr.C.K.Nandagopalan YouTube channel. I am your host Susan and I have here the star of the show, Dr. C.K.N. Welcome, Doctor.
Hi.
Doctor, what is this number game? Like 70 to 100 is normal, and then you go beyond that, then people scare you with diabetes. What is this all about?
Personally, if you ask me, whatever little understanding that I have the wisdom to express what I have in my mind. After having studied the anatomy, physiology, pathology, and medicine and food and nutrition, different section of modern science with respect to health science. What I would very clearly tell you is, if you are going to bring the human chemistry under numbers, then you will have cure for every disease in this world. I don't know how best that you understand this, but this is what I feel. Okay, we go to the next area. So numbers. Who are the people who are responsible enough? What best that they have understood the human chemistry to bring certain things under numbers? Is a big question mark. If they say that 90 to 110 is normal fasting, some people still stick around below 100. Then 100 to 130, they say that it is pre-diabetic in fasting. 130 above, they say that it is diabetes. Then 140 postprandial, 2 hours after food, should be normal. 140 to 160 is pre-diabetic. Anything 160 plus, you are diabetic. So these numbers are being coined by the medical world or designed, and whatever that they have understood. Is this correct or not? This is number one. Then you have World Health Forums are coming in, and they talk about as a norms and rules that these numbers should be followed. So there are a lot of black books behind that. So these black books I don't want to explain, and how responsible these guys are, coming out with these numbers. If you, for example, if you buy a car and 0 to 25,000 kilometers, 30 kilometers, it will give you an innocuous performance. If you're going to drive the car more than 3 lakh kilometers, and then you expect the performance of 0 to 25,000 kilometers, you will never get. So I would agree that if a person around 20 years of age with a peak performance up to 25, 140 as a postprandial, I'll agree. But if a person is above 55, 60 or 65, 70, you cannot expect 140, that is for sure. So now where do we stand? And you're going to declare him diabetic and you're going to pump him with medicines there. So this alarming sugar up of 280, 300, 350, 400, in spite of giving medicines and all things. Any medicine is given over a span of time. Body is going to memorize it, that you know about it, and it's not going to work. So you throw him in insulin. And these artificial insulin pumped in through injections, there are 4 types of insulins are there. We let us not go into those details. And then that is also over a span of time going to fail. Then
Doctor,
what?
my question is, if is it the only reason, or is the age the only reason, or can environment or the climate change, the food, the diet that people have in different places, will that also affect it?
Yeah, I am coming to that next. When it comes to the question of the world scenario of 800 crore people, that 8 billion population at the moment. People live in Alaska, people live in Europe, America, Latin America, large part of Asia. Then you have a lot of countries in the Indian Ocean side towards the southern hemisphere. Then people who live close to northern poles. How can you bring in the same number for everybody? Because the food and nutrition part of it varies from person to person. Suddenly somebody comes and says that, eat a lot of fructose, your glucose won't go up. It's a crazy way of coming and talking after the biochemistry had done research on 50 hours of fructose. Suddenly somebody, even 2 days back, there is a BBC News says that a particular diet has been exercised as a research, and with that type 2 diabetes can be reversed. How that is possible for all parts of the world? It is not possible for all parts of the world. Recent researches are also made, there is a particular community in Germany. They found from children to the elderly people of 70, 80 years, all are having sugar more than 250 all the time. Nothing happens to them. And there are pockets in Andhra, they have researched, some communities are having sugar more than 300 constantly, that they are all not diabetic. So how best that we have understood what exactly, because what we are suffering without a cure for this problem is because the cause of the disease is unknown. So when the cause of the disease is unknown, we are trying to fix some numbers. And fixing of the numbers will it be universal? It cannot be universal. It should not be universal. It can never be universal. Because if you take medicines, whatever medicines that we produce in the modern science with the field of pharmacology, these medicines, most of them cannot be universal, because, paracetamol can reduce fever, the high temperature. But if you go to an uncontaminated area of Africa, 100 mg of paracetamol is enough. If you come to India, we need 600 mg. Probably if you go to Australia, you may need only 200 mg. So the dosage varies. And there are communities which may not respond for paracetamol. It cannot be blamed that way. Maybe aspirin paracetamol combination may work, which we don't know. So when it comes to the question of that, what exactly that you are trying to figure out is to put some numbers and make that as a rigid rule in the medical world, and allow every medical practitioner to follow that. In that, how many people have been misunderstood, bringing those people under this thing. Sugar is one thing which is a fluctuating part of it in the human blood. It varies because of your emotional turbulences and emotional fluctuations. Suppose somebody, a 25-year-old girl is not good enough. Maybe she had some failure in many parts of, certain aspects of life in that year, and she's been going through some turbulences. And if she's going to have some imbalances, some symptoms and all that, they found that sugar is on the higher side. If you recorrect her problems, her lifestyle problems, whatever that problem, whatever the failure that she's gone through, she's going to become normal instead of putting her in the medicine. So that is also there. And this number game is a very, very tricky game. I cannot talk too much on this because it may not look good, but definitely I want every one of us to think that is these number games with which are we driven towards the fear factor, which will push us to take medicines for the rest of our life, or we are going to understand more about ourselves and make sure that we don't bother about the number, try to find our own ways and means to maintain the blood sugar once you have been advised your numbers are on the higher side. This is where we have to play an intelligent role in order to not to burden the diabetologists around the world. Back to you, Susan.
Thank you, Doctor. I have a lot of questions regarding this, and we'll continue this in the next episode. Till then, it's your host signing off. Please subscribe, like, and share to the people you care. Love you all.